This is the latest, greatest Canyon Endurace CF SLX 7 Di2 road bike. And in this episode, I will give you the buyer's guide for this bike. And at the end, I will tell you, should you just go ahead and buy this bike or should you just consider it? Well, hello friends and welcome to another episode of Cycling Insider. And as I was saying, so this is the latest, greatest Canyon Endurace road bike. This is their model for the 2024 season, and they have done a bit of, updating of the carbon fiber frame and the fork and a bit of aerodynamically optimized bike. So first thing first, who is this bike for? So Canyon Endurace is a classical example of an endurance road bike, so a bit more relaxed geometry and specifically designed for the long days in the saddle. So if you are looking for a bit more relaxed geometry bike, then definitely you should have a look at the Canyon Endurace range of bikes. So this Endurace CF SLX is the second level in their quality of carbon fiber frames and the forks. The top level would be the CFR level, but then these bikes become very, very expensive. Then you have the second level, CF SLX, and then the lowest level would just be the Canyon Endurace CF. So kind of mid-tier when it comes to carbon fiber frames and the forks from Canyon. Also, I have to mention here that the retail price is 3,500 British pounds, and this specific model, so CF SLX 7 Di2, as I see, currently it's only available on the European and UK markets, not yet in the USA market. I truly hope they will bring this model to the US market because the price is very attractive at 3,500 British pounds. Okay, when you look at the paint schemes on this bike, classically Canyon offers two paint schemes. One is this pretty classical, totally stealth, blacked out paint scheme, and then you have this beautiful placid blue, as they call it, kind of a light blue with again a hint of black. Very, very nice paint scheme, and personally I would go with this bit of a placid blue paint scheme. Okay, now we can dive into the specifications of this bike and really see what do you get for your hard-earned money. As always, we can kick off with the frame and the fork on this bike. So the frame is the carbon fiber CF SLX level, as I say, the second level of the quality that Canyon can do. Of course, this carbon fiber frame, also the fork, comes with the 6 years guarantee from Canyon, 12mm true axles both front and the back, flat mount disc brakes, and this carbon fiber frame is with the press fit bottom bracket. Also, one of the secret sauces here on this carbon frame is that on the top tube you have a bit of a storage on this bike. So first, you have probably seen it on Trek Domani introduced like the storage on the down tube. Now Canyon has a bit of the storage on the top tube of this bike, which is always good for some smaller pieces and tools that you can carry with yourself. Maximum tire width you can use on this carbon fiber frame and the fork is 35 millimeters. Very impressive in my opinion, and definitely it's worth having tires of 32 millimeters again in my opinion. Okay, let's talk about the drivetrain on this bike. So the shifters, front mech and the rear mech, everything here is the Shimano 105 Di2 electronic group set. So this is a 12-speed electronic group set from Shimano. Absolutely superb electronic group set, no complaints here from me, you'll definitely like it. And it is also paired with the Shimano 105 cassette, 1134 cassette, and the crankset is also Shimano 105 crankset, in this iteration 5034. So you have this nice 1-to-1 gear ratio, 1134 cassette, 5034 chainrings at the front, definitely designed for the long days in the saddle and climbing any steep mountains that you can imagine. I will also mention here that with Shimano's electronic group sets, you have a wireless communication between the shifters and the front mech, and then the front mech and the rear mech are connected with the cable. Bottom bracket on this bike, as I was mentioning, Shimano's press fit BB72 bottom bracket. Again, I'm not expecting any creaking noises here because quality control on these levels of carbon fiber frames should be excellent in my opinion. Now let's talk about the braking system on the bike. So the front and the rear brakes are the Shimano's 105 level hydraulic disc brakes. And here they are using 160 millimeter braking rotors front and the back, absolutely excellent. And they are using the Shimano's XT braking rotors. So these braking rotors are from the Shimano's mountain bike world. They are superb braking rotors, excellent heat dissipation. They have this Shimano's ice freezer, ice tech technology. So definitely in the future, if you need to replace these braking rotors, I can definitely advise you to stick with the Shimano Dior XT braking rotors. Of course, you can use the Shimano's Ultegra braking rotors, Shimano Dura-Ace, and also please keep it at 160 millimeter braking rotors front and the back. Now, just briefly looking here, I don't see in the technical specifications what is the chain on this bike. I'm truly hoping it is the Shimano's 105 level chain or the alternative, let's say, from the mountain bike world, something like the Shimano SLX level chain. As long as you are using a 12-speed compatible chain, it's totally fine, whichever chain you use from the Shimano's group set. Now we can talk about the wheelset on this bike because it's an interesting one. Here they are using the Di2 Endurance LN wheelset. This Di2 Endurance LN wheelset, as I see, you can't buy directly from Di2. I'm guessing this is some kind of OEM production wheelset. It is a classical aluminum wheelset with the rim height of 22 millimeters, and I truly believe that this wheelset is based on the Di2 ER 1600 spline wheelset. Roughly speaking, if you would buy this wheelset on the open market, something about $750, and the total weight of this wheelset 1617 grams, let's call it. Also, I will just mention that the hubs on this wheelset will be probably the Di2 350 hubs, which are superb hubs, and also using the Di2 Aero competition spokes. Of course, this Di2 Endurance LN wheelset as a classical aluminum wheelset, you can turn it into a tubeless wheelset, but of course you will need to provide your own tubeless tape and the tubeless valves. All in all, excellent wheelset here. I'm not expecting any problems with Di2 aluminum wheels. Tires, they are here Continental Grand Prix 5000 STR tire, 32 millimeters wide front and the back. Superb, excellent tire, no complaints here. 32 millimeters is a nice air volume. It will definitely contribute to the smooth bike ride. And in the future, if you can again use Continental Grand Prix 5000 tires, superb stuff. And in the width of 32 millimeters, even better. As I said, the frame and the fork can take up to 35 millimeter tires. Now let's talk about the cockpit on this bike because it's a bit different from the, let's say, previous generation of the Canyon Endurace bike. So here they are using the Canyon's CP18 Aero cockpit. So it is a carbon fiber cockpit, but it is a one-piece carbon fiber cockpit. So keep that in mind that the adjustment on this cockpit is going to be limited. The Canyon is saying here that when it comes to the width adjustment, it is plus minus 20 millimeters, height adjustment 15 millimeters. I really don't know why they have put a carbon fiber one-piece cockpit on an endurance road bike. I wish they have only used the carbon fiber handlebar with a classical aluminum stem, but it is what it is. Just keep this in mind that this is a one-piece proprietary carbon fiber cockpit, handlebar stem in one piece, so it will definitely limit your options of the fine-tuning the position on the bike. Seat post and the saddle. Seat post, again, a superb Canyon's VCLS carbon fiber seat post, probably the best carbon fiber seat post to soak up the bumps on the market. And also the saddle here is the Physique Argo Tempo. Again, if you don't like this saddle, it's very easy to replace because saddles are usually a personal preference. I forgot to mention that the total weight of this bike is 8.5 kilograms, as Canyon is claiming. I'm guessing for some kind of size medium. Of course, this doesn't include the pedals. So if you drop the pedals on top of it, let's call it 8.7 kilograms. Again, I'm assuming here some kind of size medium or size large. Again, I wouldn't be so worried about it. The whole point of this bike is a relaxed geometry, long days in the saddle, smooth bike ride. So 8.5 to 8.7 kilograms, totally fine in my opinion. So what is my advice to you? Well, if you are in the market for an endurance road bike, you definitely have to shortlist this Canyon Endurace CF SLX 7 Di2 bike, because the retail price of 3,500 British pounds is a very attractive price point. And again, it's very hard to see the competition who's out there who can do the similar, group set carbon fiber frame fork and the components as this Canyon offering. So definitely go ahead and shortlist this bike. So I think this is going to be it for today. I hope you like what I'm doing. If you do, keep on watching, keep on liking. And as always, I will see you soon in the next episode. Cheers!